Audi S8 Review. What is it? Released in 1998, directed by the late John Frankenheimer, and starring Robert De Niro, Ronin is about a group of mercenaries hired to steal a mysterious briefcase, whose contents are at no point revealed. Despite the confounding plot, it's one of our favorite films. Chiefly because of the cars and car chases, one of which was a dark green, first-generation Audi S8. Ronin made the S8 cool. The quintessential Q car, a perfect means of transportation for discerning baddies. It looked good, too, and had a strong naturally aspirated 4.2-liter V8 mated to slushy automatic gearbox. In Germany, you could even get it with a manual and quattro four-wheel drive. And that coolness endures to this day. The next S8 was just silly, and quite enjoyable for it. Designed and developed when the going was good and emissions regulations were comparatively lax, like the S6 and RS6 of the era, it had a 5.2-liter V10 with similar genes to the Lamborghini Gallardos. Yes, really. But not this S8? Obviously realizing it had been uncharacteristically insane in putting a V10 Lamborghini engine in a Mercedes S-Class rival, Audi went with a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 for the third S8. That engine since appeared in not only many other fast Audis but Bentleys, Bentayga, Continental GT, and Lambos, Urus, too. Now into its facelift fourth generation, the S8 sticks with the same basic recipe. Audi S8 Review, the most boring 560 brake horsepower car, in a good way. Here the V8 gets some help from a 48-volt mild hybrid system that, along with cylinder deactivation, claims to save an inconsequentially small amount of fuel, some 0.8 liters for every 62 miles driven. Among other things, it powers the clever predictive suspension setup, more on that later, though, and means the S8 can coast with its engine switched off. You mentioned a facelift. Yep, Audi refreshed the entire 8 range in late 2021 and decided to give the S8 a nip and tuck while it was at it. The quad exhausts remain and there's now sportier bumpers front and rear as well as a unique chrome grille. However, as you can see from the images above, there's also something called the black exterior styling pack that dulls everything down for the full Parisian special op look. What about power and performance? The powertrain hasn't changed with Audi's facelift either, but that's fine. The S8 develops 563 brake horsepower and 590 pounds-feet of torque. That's enough to see this 2.2-ton car hit 62 miles per hour from rest in 3.8 seconds and reach a limited 155 miles per hour top speed. Not quite as fast as the old Mercedes-AMG S63, which had north of 600 brake horsepower. But then the S8 was a fair bit cheaper, despite starting at £100,000 or so. The S8 used to be the flagship in Audi's range. When it launched in 1996, this was the priciest, most powerful Audi on sale. Nowadays an RS7 or RSQ8 kicks its bum if it's Q car you want, though you'd need to keep the subs color plain and pop a space saver on each corner for it to be anyway subtle.